This is WWE superstar Drew McIntyre, and you're listening to the WWE Podcast.
The champ is
the one that everybody wants, me.
Becky Lynch is going to WrestleMania. Claymore!
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass. This is my iron. You're going to acknowledge me.
Crown Jewels in the books. We got a Crown Jewel event that I think most of us can say good riddance to. Overall, I will say this. The event didn't exactly knock my socks off. Not just because I have just a deep dislike of the event on levels that have nothing to do with wrestling, but just from a pure objective standpoint, as much as I can be, it really, it wasn't a bad event, but I think some of the booking decisions were a little suspect. Of course, the championship that Cody ended up winning was just nothing more than WWE once again reinforcing Cody as the chosen, I shouldn't say that, the people chose him, but the kind of corporate face of the company with Triple H out there. And I love Triple H from how much, just everything that he's contributed to the company, especially in his wrestling career and how he's changed things up from a creative standpoint, and it's, it feels more fresh from presentation and things that Vince wouldn't do. Triple H has done. Not everything's worked, but he's tried, and I appreciate all that. I don't know why Triple H feels the need to get involved on camera so much as he does. I don't think it's needed, but he's there and giving Liv and gave Cody the championship for Crown Jewel. I don't particularly think that championship means anything, and it's hilarious that the company said that these championships are going to remain in Saudi Arabia, which is good to address. At least they're not going to carry them around, and we're all supposed to care that they are the Crown Jewel champion, which in about 4.5 seconds, most people will forget and not care. So I think a lot of this has to do with Triple H not wanting to do this, but feeling like he has to, or the company is being strong-armed into doing something for Saudi Arabia every single time they go. And they have to just do something unique every single time they go, and this maybe was the best that they all could come up with. Was a championship that is, again, as valuable as one that I would buy off WWEshop.com. So overall, though, the event, it's wrestling. Some of the matches were really good. I really enjoyed Bronson Reed and Seth Rollins. We'll dive into that. The women's Fatal 4-Way for the women's tag team titles was what it was. We'll dive into that, and I'll try to find some highlights there. But let's start at the top of the show. And first, I want to thank all of you who have joined Patreon and stuck with us through the ups and the downs and getting everything ad free. I hope you enjoy, and I want to welcome a brand new patron while I don't forget, because sometimes I do. Which, by the way, guys, you can head on over to Patreon and get yourself ad free if you want. But we have a new patron, and let me get that an individual's name here. It is the Money Men. I'm guessing it's just an acronym or a nickname or something. So Money Men, thank you for joining us. Hope you enjoy your ad-free experience. And one last thing before we dive into the details of Crown Jewel. If you are interested in contributing to After Dark, please email me an episode, okay? And if it's good enough, we'll post it on the After Dark side of Patreon. Consistency is key, so if you are interested in contributing, we will need one episode every week. Typically, Wednesday would be a great day for your contribution. Please make it an MP3 format. It can be anything, and other than religion and politics. Anything else is pretty much fair game. It's After Dark, adult-only podcast. I'd like it 20 to 30 minutes long at minimum, and really pick your topic. It can be wrestling related, and it can be really whatever you want it to be. So, quality mic, consistency is so important on this show, guys. I really can't stress that enough. If you are interested and you're like, well, I might be able to do it, and I don't know, I could do it here and there. No, and then, it's probably not going to be a good match. So consistency is key, and just send me an email at mailbag@wwepodcast.com. That's mailbag@wwepodcast.com. So, all right, let's dive into Crown Jewel. Let's start at the top here. So to open the show, we have, let's see, Pyro go off. Obviously, I don't ever think I've said that, but Pyro did go off, and we had Roman Reigns and Jimmy Uso come out. They opened the show with this match, which immediately told you probably no big returns, but we did get one. It just wasn't the one that we thought it could be in The Rock. But we'll talk about that in a little bit here. With Roman, Jay, and Jimmy versus Solo, Jacob Fatu, and Tama Tonga with Tonga Loa. This was a 6-man tag. And the OTC chants were really loud. Big pop here. Again, I actually miss Roman's old music. Can we start a petition? There was no need to change it to begin with. I just think Roman's previous music didn't need to be touched. It just didn't. So we have then, let's see, in the middle of the match, Jay comes in, hits a blind tag. Jay super kicked Jacob Fatu, who just seems to sell a lot of those kicks. I mean, Jacob Fatu's whole deal is sometimes super kicks like supercharge him. It's a way to like power up Jacob Fatu is to seemingly just super kick him. It gives him more energy somehow. But we got the Rogue Bloodline, Solo, Jacob Fatu, Tama Tonga beating Roman, Jay, and Jimmy in 16 minutes. So here's the finish, in case you didn't watch it in protest. Reigns hits Solo with a Superman punch. Reigns sets up for the spear, but Tonga climbed on the apron. Reigns pulled Tama inside the ring, where he collided with the referee. Yes, the obligatory ref bump happens here in a Bloodline match. It just wouldn't be a Bloodline match without a ref bump. Reigns then knocks Loa off the apron. Jacob Fatu then got hit with a Superman punch, or stuffed a Superman punch, rather. Fatu put Reigns down, hit a top rope moonsault, and then Jacob Fatu hit a suicide dive onto the Usos on the floor, and Solo hit Reigns with a pair of Samoan spikes and pinned him. So Solo gets some heat here. And after the match, they all attacked him. They cleared the broadcast table, set up for a power bomb. Jay broke it up. Solo's crew brought Jay back inside the ring and hit a chair around his neck. That's when Sami Zayn's music hit, and Solo Sikoa ended up in the middle of the ring eventually with all of his support, all of his Rogue Bloodline members dispatched on the outside. It looked like they were going to give Solo what he deserved, and Reigns went for a Superman punch while Zayn went for a haluva kick, and Sikoa ducked the moves, and Zayn ends up hitting Reigns with a haluva kick, and Solo rolled to the floor and laughed. And so interesting here that there's already some disconnect between Zayn and Roman, and they are not quite back on the same page yet. It's not leading anybody, again, I cannot stress this enough, anybody that believes this is leading to more Bloodline Civil War matches between Sami and Roman, or Jay and Sami and Jimmy and Jimmy, nothing is happening here. It's a matter of them just trying to find their gears again and bringing Paul Heyman back. Paul Heyman apparently is going to be the final key here, and I think he'll be introduced as soon as SmackDown this Friday. It'll be really cool to see Paul Heyman back. He's been out for a few months now, and I think it's been a hot minute for Paulie. So it'd be good to have him back as the wise man to the OG Bloodline, and it's going to be a fun moment when that happens. So it's not leading to anything, and it is surprising. So we now have the Bloodline complete minus Paul Heyman. All the members that we expected to be back are back. We're getting our match at Survivor Series. It's going to be a fun match. Yes, I expect that Survivor Series, The Rock to absolutely show up, and Paul Heyman will be there. Now, the interesting part about this match, it was a really good match, as expected, but about Solo pinning Roman. And prior to this, Roman hadn't been beat before WrestleMania for like 5 years, right? Jey Uso did beat him in a non-title, but he's had very few times where he's been pinned. So Roman Reigns taking a pinfall should be still looked at as very significant, despite the fact he's not champion anymore. So Solo beating Roman is a big deal. And I think while my prediction was wrong, that Roman and Jimmy and Jay would get the pin, I think it's actually the right move here booking-wise. And the reason is because Solo and his group need some heat. It feels like they've lost a little steam. The focus has been really on the pieces of the puzzle coming back for the OG bloodline, and one by one they're coming back, and now we nearly have a complete bloodline. And that's really what the story and focus has been. And instead, it hasn't really been looking at as Solo as a threat. I mean, he's lost a significant number of matches. His goons get repeatedly beat up constantly. Tamatanga and Tangaloa constantly get beat up. Jacob Fatu is very protected, and he seems to be more protected than Solo. But it feels like they haven't won anything significant. So this actually was, despite the fact that I was wrong, which I really don't care about that part. It's more about I was wrong that they should have, that I thought they should have Roman and Jimmy and Jay win. They're on the roll, trying to reunite the bloodline. But the other side of the coin is Solo and his bloodline need some momentum. They need some heat. And this did it. This was a great, a great finish. Okay, we then have Bianca, Jade, Io, and Kairi, and everybody basically doing their stunt spots in this match, which is really everybody getting into a group and making sure that somebody gets an opportunity to moonsault or do a cross-body splash, whatever the case. Just, I guess everybody gets their spot. I mean, how many spots did we see where the one person took out 6 people? And yes, there was a botch spot when Sky was launched towards Jackson, who was seated on top of the rope, and Sky came up short and called an audible. Green then did a kind of a funny spot here where she teased going up for a top rope moonsault, but then just, decided better of it. And here's the finish here. So we then got a spot with Sane hitting a back fist on Belair. Sky popped up Sane, who dropped an elbow on Belair, and then Legend tossed Sane into a powerbomb by Jackson. We had the rapid first spots continue with the Green hitting a code breaker on Jackson. Niven splashed Jackson while she was on Green's knees. Niven accidentally splashed Green moments later, and Belair and Cargill hit a doomsday device on Niven to get the victory. So Belair and Jade still are your tag team champions. Yawn. Sorry, yawn. It really not that these tag teams don't have chemistry, or that they're not. That this was a bad match per se. This was a 12-minute match. And so there is that this match got double-digit time is notable, sadly. But more of the fact that Jade and Bianca's their pairing has run its course, and it's time for them to go. It's time for them to go, give the belts to somebody else, and it's time to see if Jade can sink or swim. And I'll leave it at that because I've gone into depth on this a lot, so. Yawn. I have nothing else to say about it. Again, not about the effort of these women, including Jade and Bianca, okay? It's not about that. It's just the tag team division as a whole has always been a bit suspect of WWE's priorities. So, okay, let's move on, though. Something a little more positive. And Bronson Reed and Seth Rollins. 12-minute match. This needed to be a match for Bronson Reed where he could show, hey, I'm not all about car splashes and destroying backstage areas. I can actually have a match. I can actually have a match that is in the ring and is contained to the ring, which I think is important. And he had a really good match. Granted, he's in there with one of the best in the world in Seth Rollins, but still, Bronson had to hold up his own, and he did. And we got a Seth Rollins victory. He was hit with a stomp. Reed got back to his feet. He hit a stomp again from the top rope, got the victory. After the match, Reed gets to his feet, glares at Rollins, who looks shocked. Reed motioned for Rollins to return, but Rollins then jawed at him while he was back up the ramp, and Rollins told Reed that he knows where to find him. And so it's not over. And I think that's a good thing for both Rollins and Bronson. Rollins isn't ready for CM Punk yet, despite the fact that Punk is probably going to be on his way back to WWE for a match at Survivor Series. or shortly thereafter. I think for Bronson, who's just been on the ascent the last few months, just what Bronson Reed brings to the table is just so much fun. Both men need each other right now, and I don't think we knew that we needed Bronson to kind of push Seth forward, because Seth has been coasting along for a little while. I mean, this detour with Bronson Reed has freshened up his character. He has not the kind of sing-along character with the outlandish outfits that we saw forever and ever. He kind of changed all that and gave us the little more intense Seth Rollins we haven't seen in a while. So that's a really good thing. And having Bronson Reed here too, at his point in his career where he's never been more relevant. This is, just a great thing for him professionally. It's really fun to hear, his promos improve, see him in the ring improve, show he can actually have a match outside of destroying crap backstage, which is still admittedly very fun and a guilty pleasure of all of us. It still was a requirement that you show us you can have a match on a PLE in a big stage with a big opponent. And I think he did that. And Bronson Reed also got busted open the hard way with a stomp on the steps. Now, here's a running theme throughout the PLE that I did have an issue with, and it's really an issue-wide, or rather an industry-wide, WWE especially wide issue that I just won't let go of because it continues to rear its head all the time, and I'm not going to accept it, is this kick out of finish. The diminishing of what finishing moves are, and it's not even kicking out of them anymore. I mean, that's a problem in and of itself. I mean, just look at the Crossroads, for God's sakes. You know that you need to hit at least 3 of them to be considered plausible the match is over. But also, the finishes are being no-sold now. Look what Bronson Reed did. Now, with Bronson Reed, you can make an argument that that's kind of his character, but still, the overall issue is the no-selling of finishes and the fact that it's nothing more than just a transition move now. Finishes just generally are looked at as not big a deal anymore. They're just there, and you need at least 3. It's the effectiveness of a finish across the board has seemingly been cut by 66%. How did I come up with that exact number? Because you look at Cody Rhodes, the Crossroads, it's going to take 3 to be considered maybe it's over, especially on a big stage. Which means, so it's now a 3-to-1 ratio. What used to be as effective as 1 is now requires 3 to be as effective as 1 used to be. And that's where we're at. And no finish is safe anymore. Which is just, it's damaging. And because it's not exciting when you see somebody hit a finish and you're like, oh, okay, well, they hit their finish. So we're starting to get to the end of the match, but we're not quite there yet. You should immediately look at that and be like, oh my God, it could be over right now. And that's not how we look at it anymore. I know that this is just the way of the wrestling world now, and this is probably just, I'm yelling into the ether. But I miss the days when a finish was a finish. And when someone kicked out, you were like, holy crap. Finishes were protected generally. Now they're just part of the end of the match, not the actual end of the match. It's just a part of the ending sequence of moves for a match, but not the actual end, which is the problem. Drama doesn't always need to try to come from kickouts of finishes. In fact, I would argue it's not dramatic anymore. The drama has been completely drained of it. The excitement of someone kicking out of a finish is gone because it's been done all the time. It's done in nearly every match last night. I just don't think it's needed anymore, and they need to go back to re-educating fans of one finish did it. What? Yes. It's leaned on way too much across the board, top to bottom, top of the card to the bottom of the card. Finishes need to be reimagined. I don't even want to say that. They need to be reestablished as finishes. This is again, this is my own preference. I mean, maybe you guys love it and you love the fact that it takes 6, 7, 8, 9 finishes sometimes. I don't. Okay, moving on, though. We got the Women's World Champion Nia Jax versus the WWE Women's Champion Nia Jax versus the Women's World Champion Liv Morgan. And this match went 8 minutes and 15 seconds, about where I figured it would go here, given the size difference and the pacing of this match. I really actually, I kind of enjoyed this match. I know a lot of people I've heard, and it wasn't that exciting. It was slow paced. Well, that's what a Nia Jax match is. It's slower pace. I like that. So Nia did lose here to Liv, but here's the finish. So we had Morgan and Rodriguez confront Stratton at ringside. Jax hit Morgan and Rodriguez from behind. It sandwiched Stratton between them and the barricade. And then back in the ring, Jax hit a leg drop on Morgan, went to the rope for her finish. Dom distracted the ref by sliding the Money in the Bank briefcase in the ring. Rodriguez knocked Jax off the ropes with a kick, and Morgan hit Jax with Oblivion and pinned her. And then after the match, Triple H comes out, and he presented Liv Morgan with the Crown Jewel Championship, and Morgan seemed to be actually emotional for a moment, and that's it. So, I mean, I don't know what she's emotional about. I hope it's not about the championship. It probably is more of just about, if she truly was emotional, not really about that championship per se, but about the moment of where her career was to where it is now. The ascent of Liv Morgan also can't be undersold here. Liv Morgan she's gone from a total obscurity. Remember the Riot Squad with Sarah Logan, Ruby Riott, and Liv Morgan? Remember that? Maybe you don't if you're a newer fan. I mean, that was a group that just was a piñata on a weekly basis. You never really heard from Liv Morgan. She was just the tiny blonde in the group that got her ass kicked regularly. She was this she was, I think, really in the pecking order, she was the number 2 in that group to Ruby Riott as the leader, who now is Super Ruby Soho. So I think maybe that's what was going through her mind. If we did see a little bit of emotion there from Liv, is just about, she's in a good place professionally, and she absolutely is. Okay. We then had a video package set up for the Randy Orton and Kevin Owens match. So Owens comes out wearing a Cowboy Bob Orton t-shirt. He was booed. Randy Orton comes out and fans are singing along. Orton climbed onto the ropes for his signature pose, and Owens returned and hit him from behind with a chair. Owens cleared the broadcast table, set up for a power bomb. We had a lot of announce table shenanigans, and Orton tried to hit Owens with a chair, but the referee, I have his name here because, yes, I'm reading a summary, Eddie Orango, took it away from him. That's when Owens hit the referee, Eddie Orango, with a stunner. And I love that. There's something also guilty pleasure about seeing refs get their ass kicked. I don't know what it is. Like seeing sometimes like a referee take a stunner or a finish is always really funny. I don't know why. But Orton then kicked Owens, slammed a chair on his back, and Cole said the match had been called off. And then in the ring, Orton wound up to slam the chair over Owens' back, but we then had producer Sean Daivari come in, take it away from him. Orton took out Daivari and dropped Owens with a draped DDT. That's when the GMs, Nick Aldis and Adam Pearce, come out, try to talk Orton down. That's when Orton hit Pearce with an RKO, which is, again, really funny. Aldis then went to ringside. I thought Owens was going to stun Aldis. That didn't happen, though. And we have, let's see here. Owens grab a small road case and slam it over Orton's head. And Orton hit Owens with the case multiple times, placed him on a table. Orton climbed onto the staircase above the main floor and dropped an elbow on Orton to put him through the table, and that was that. So no actual match, no bell rang. I think that's fine. I know sometimes people feel like they're cheated out of what was advertised. But you really got what was advertised. You got a brawl between Orton and Owens. Sure, there was no actual bell that rang, but you got the action that you expected. You were able to see a stunner. You got an RKO. You got violence. You saw these two tie it up and beat the hell out of each other. And I'm okay with this happening every once in a while. Not as a general rule. It should be much more the exception than the rule. But it's something that I think is an effective tool every once in a while that you can pull out and use to further a story where they didn't even get to the bell ringing. I haven't seen that in a while. So I enjoyed the brawl here. I thought it was well done. And Owens hitting a stunner on the ref, as well as Orton RKOing Adam Pearce, will certainly lead to consequences. Both will likely be fined. Maybe there's a couple weeks suspension that'll be lifted just perfectly conveniently for the Survivor Series. Certainly, Adam Pearce would. If he doesn't suspend Randy Orton and just gives him a fine, that would really make Adam Pearce look weak. But there's got to be severe consequences here, and I think both men will face them. And it'd be interesting to see how they're brought back. But Survivor Series looks like the next big place for these two to actually have a match. It can't be a regular match. It's got to be, I don't know, cage match, or I'm not sure, street fight, whatever the case. It's got to be something bigger than a standard match. And I think that's what we'll get with an actual match and an actual result at Survivor Series. Okay. We then had the triple threat for the U.S. title here. LA Knight, Andrade, and Carmelo Hayes. This match went 9 minutes. I thought it'd be a lot longer, actually. And LA Knight wins here to retain his U.S. championship. And the finish was this. Knight jumped up to the top rope, hit both men with elbow drops that led him to covering both of them for a double 2 count. Andrade set up Hayes for a move on the ropes, but Knight came up from behind and suplexed him. Hayes leapt up to the top rope and hit nothing but net on Knight and had him beat, but Andrade broke up the pin. Hayes set up for a facebuster, but Knight cut in, hit Hayes with the BFT, and got the victory. I enjoyed the wrestling in this match, despite the fact that it was only 9 minutes. I feel like it could have gone 14, 15 minutes. But nonetheless, you talk about maximizing your minutes. I think these guys did. These guys exceeded expectations for the amount of time they were given, I think. Because, again, I feel like they could have had more time. But the right guy won here. You have LA Knight still finding his groove as U.S. champion. He's done fine. But I think there needs to be a little bit longer of a stretch here where fans get to really see what a champion... what LA Knight looks like as a singles champion, and what he acts like, and what his promos are like, and does he change anything, and how does he feel generally as champion? How does he look? And we're still learning all that stuff. So this was a nice win for LA Knight. I don't know if this trio is done. They may have a rematch. I could see this being a rematch on SmackDown where they have they'll label it or brand it, sell it as a crown jewel rematch for the U.S. title. That could be an easy SmackDown match. In fact, I would actually argue that should happen. That gives you an instant great quality match, and it allows you to put this rivalry to bed. Or if you want, I guess you could extend it, depending on how LA Knight retains. But he should retain if that match happens. All right. Then we get World Heavyweight Champion Gunther versus WWE Champion Cody Rhodes for the Crown Jewel Championship. This match went 23 minutes, so I think we know where all of the time went, and that was the Cody Gunther match. And this match was everything it really was advertised to be. It was as advertised. Brutal. Great chemistry. WWE has shown you why these two men are the champions that they are. Yes, I'm complimenting Cody here. I can hate his character, but simultaneously respect the hell out of his wrestling ability, and he's got a lot of it. And both of these guys continue to show you why they are at the top of their class. And Gunther here also shined, despite the fact that he lost, which I totally disagree with. It was a match that still put Gunther in a good spot, even though he lost. You got to remember, he lost he lost for, first and foremost, a championship no one cares about. So he's still world champion. He's still the world heavyweight champion. It doesn't really do much negatively for his career here, because number one, the championship doesn't matter. Number two, you put on a 23-minute classic or a wrestling clinic. I shouldn't say classic. Classic would indicate that it's one of the greatest of all time. It's not, but it was a wrestling clinic with these two. You continue to show how brutal your style is. Just his presence as champion continues to just ooze through the television or your screen, more for that matter, your phone screen or your laptop or your iPad. But also, and it shouldn't really matter because, and it didn't really hurt Gunther, because this will be forgotten quickly. This is a rivalry that's a one and done. It's a one and done, and it was more for WWE to continue to show you, oh, this is our guy still, right? And it did just affirm nothing more and nothing less than what fans already believed about these two in the pecking order of where they view them in the company. And that the WWE Championship that Cody Rhodes is holding, that WWE anointed as Cody Rhodes being the face of the new era, is truly the number one championship to Gunther's number two world championship. They'll never say that. I mean, they'd never say that on air anyway. Of course, they have to try to sell it as, these are equal counterparts. They're not. Okay. We know that. And it was just nothing but affirming that. Now, I had figured that it would be better for Gunther to win this by hook or crook, with a potential Rock interference where Gunther wins it, because a heel winning something like this is something they could brag about. It's a bullet point on their resume that they could bring up. If you're telling us that this is such an important championship, even if physically the championship will remain in Saudi Arabia, which is where it should remain, or more specifically in one of the landfills in Saudi Arabia, but it should remain there, and it is. And Gunther should continue to remind us that he's a double champion and go on this, just temporarily talk about how he's actually a two-time, or he's actually technically a double championship title holder right now. And it's a great thing for a heel to brag about for a little while. So I also do wonder, here's something I want in a year, somebody to keep tabs on. Next year, with Liv and Gunther, if they are the champions, are they going to, they have to defend them in a year? Or are we just going to hit the reset button and have these faux championships, the championship holders from this year, like we're all supposed to forget who they were, and they're just going to anoint new ones? Because if that's true, you're going to force yourself to have Gunther and Liv in next year's championship matches for Crown Jewel. Because, right? I mean, no? I'm not sure. Maybe it doesn't work that way, and it's just whoever the champions are at the time are the ones that get to compete for it. So, Gunther was not hurt by this. It did nothing more than, again, affirm where fans really put Cody and Gunther in their minds, probably anyway, based on how the company treats them and how they've both been presented. So, we did at the end get Paul Levesque come out, Triple H, and he said that, or Cole said the title belt will stay in a vault in Saudi Arabia. Again, I keep hammering this championship, but the more they show it to us, which isn't a bad looking title belt physically. I mean, but of course, when you're trying to present something to me that has no value and you're going to tell me that it does, I mean, I'm just going to hammer on it, and I'm not going to pretend that it does and go along with it. So I'm not a good little fan here, and I don't get a pat on the head and an attaboy for this. I won't go along with it. So we then had Liv Morgan come out, and, well, Cody, let me back up. Pyro shot off behind Cody while Paul Levesque and one of his dignitaries raised his arms. And Liv Morgan joined in, and one of the dignitaries joined Levesque in raising the arms of Cody and Morgan. Yes, again, just it's just whatever. Fine match, really good match. This was again a show that, while I started at the open and said that it wasn't the best show, and I just generally think some of the booking was questionable with Gunther losing here. That was a big one for me. Other than understanding why they did it, because Cody's the face of the company, and he was anointed as the face of the new era of WWE, and he truly was. I mean, he just was. But again, Gunther could have benefited from this, I think, more than Cody could have. Cody has won everything there is to win, and I think at this point, you know, I do wonder where the tipping point is for fans. Is there one for Cody? Because he's winning everything, right? He's the top guy. He won at WrestleMania 40. He's now the Crown Jewel champion, and are fans eventually going to resent this? He's in a place now where, unless someone cheats to beat him, fans don't believe he can lose clean. Right? And that doesn't need to be the case with a babyface and a heel dynamic. I am a big fan of some heels, not all, some being able to just outright beat the babyface. Doesn't always need to be cheating. Sometimes they're just bad guys that can win. Bigger, stronger guys, despite the fact that their moral compass may be not, particularly where a upstanding citizen would want them to be, that they are okay with cheating and lying and stealing, a la Eddie Guerrero, who somehow made it very charming. It doesn't always need to be that dynamic. I mean, there are bad guys and gals that are just better than people who are nicer are. So those people can exist. Those people should exist in WWE land too, and Gunther would have fit that bill perfectly. He was simply better than Cody tonight. But they didn't go that road. They went the feel-good moment road with one of the dignitaries and Paul Levesque and Cody. I mean, you talk about a perfect corporately constructed, manufactured picture. I mean, just somebody wanted that photo and they got it. So, again, not my favorite. Now, one thing I will say, off Crown Jewel, which I'd give Crown Jewel B-, C+. I would say this about Goldberg. Goldberg is confirmed for a retirement match in WrestleMania, in 2025. It probably will be at WrestleMania. So he's confirmed for it. And he hinted that we kind of already know who his business may be with. So it's probably going to be Gunther versus Goldberg. God help us. This is, again, I don't know who's asking for this. Who's asking for a Bill Goldberg retirement match? I'm not craving it. Who are these people? If they're doing it, the idea would be that, well, the fans want it. According to who? Did you poll them? Where are you getting this information? I don't hear Goldberg chants. I don't see him trending on Twitter. I don't see signs asking for Goldberg to come back. Yes, he was cheered in Atlanta when he ran down his son, and he defended his son, and Gunther ran down his son, and then Goldberg gets out, and you're thinking, okay, here we go. Then he got cheered, right? That doesn't mean we want a Goldberg match. As I said in that review as well in Bad Blood, a Goldberg spear there is essentially what you'd get from a match anyway. You're not getting much more from an official match than you would from just a run-in from Goldberg. They're nearly identical. I don't know if you can decipher one from the other. So I don't need a Goldberg match. Again, you want to have him come out, hit a spear on somebody for a fun, feel-good, nostalgic moment. Cool, whatever, fine. But no one's out there going, oh man, wouldn't that be awesome if Goldberg was in a match? If he could still have a match? No. Also, if he's going to be working with Gunther, what gives him the right to bypass everyone else for the World Heavyweight Championship, which assumingly is going to be on the line? Now, Goldberg's done this before. He just jumps the line. And I hate it. Now, if it's a non-title match, I'd accept it a little more. But we know it's not going to be a non-title. So Goldberg is going to assumingly jump the line and face Gunther. This match also, assuming this match happens, and I think it is, because again, this is confirmed by Goldberg himself. This is not from my speculation or rumors or trending things. No. Go YouTube it, all right? I mean, or even go to WWE's YouTube page. It's right on their YouTube page. This does not lend itself to being a good match. It'd be passable. And again, only passable by the standards of a Goldberg match, which already by default is about 4 levels lower than any other match that we expect out of anybody, and the quality of the match anyway. So, can you tell I'm not really looking forward to this? It's a waste of a spot for a guy that could have a great match with Gunther that gets more spotlight. And if it's in 2025, which he said it is, he's got a couple months. That would tell you that if, and you could go listen to this yourself, if Goldberg says he has a couple months to get himself ready, well, where exactly does a couple months put you? Puts you in January. Now, the Rumble is in February this year, oddly, which is just complete bastardization. I mean, somebody needs to be fired over the Rumble being in February this year. Somebody needs to lose their job. And I mean that like half joking. I am really joking. I'm not calling for it, but it feels sacrilegious to have the Rumble in February. And everything seems to be pushed back a couple weeks this year, with WrestleMania being in mid-April, like January or April 20th or something. So everything is pushed back by about 2 weeks from what's normal. But that would mean that if this timeline that he put out there is correct, that Gunther is going to be facing Goldberg for the World Heavyweight Championship at the Royal Rumble. Also, on top of the fact that it's not going to be a good match, you know that off the bat, guaranteed, it's not going to be the match quality that we expect in today's day and age. And it's a wasted spot for somebody that, and a younger talent that could have otherwise had a great rub from Gunther. But you also know that this may not, we may not know, we will find out, if this is Gunther's only match with Goldberg or Goldberg's only match. He said his retirement match will be in 2025. That doesn't mean he's only having one match. That just means his retirement match will be in 2025, which means we could get several. Right? That's the other little distinction here that we didn't get clarification on. People assume, oh, well, he just said he's going to have his retirement match. Well, okay, yeah, but he'll have his retirement match in 2025. But he may have several matches leading up to that retirement match. So, I don't know, maybe some of you out there are much bigger Goldberg fans than I am. Nothing against the guy on a personal level. He is, obviously nothing like that. I have nothing against him. I don't know. He doesn't do it for me. I was always a WWE guy through and through. Goldberg, when I watched him on WCW, looked like a poor man's Stone Cold Steve Austin. He didn't have I shouldn't even say half. He didn't even have a small fraction of the talent of Stone Cold Steve Austin. He had the same identical look, yes, much different in personality, much different in ring. So I don't know. Maybe it's that also is part of my bitterness towards the character of Goldberg, is simply because I always felt that he was like the Wish version of Stone Cold Steve Austin. So there is that. But we're going to get a Goldberg match. We'll get our 30-second match. Spear, kick out. He better not win a damn thing, and then he goes away, because he's earned a title shot, guys, because he's Bill Goldberg. But again, I'm putting the cart before the horse, but I think we know that I'm probably right on that. All right, so that's that, guys. I hope you enjoyed the review. Continue to go ad-free if you haven't already at Crown Jewel at patreon.com/WWE podcast. That gets you everything ad-free. It gets you a lot of other stuff, including, guys, the After Dark show that I'm once again going to put out there for those of you who are interested in contributing. consistency is the big key here. And if you can give it, a once a week effort, I'd really appreciate it. It can be on any topic you'd like other than politics and religion. And as long as it's, relatively non-offensive, meaning like if your goal to do this is just to cuss and talk about insanely edgy stuff just to be edgy, then no. I mean, if it's wrestling based, cool. You want to talk about Bigfoot, aliens, ghosts. You want to talk about hell, I don't know, what makes a rocket ship work. Really, I mean, how do planes work? I mean, just random crap. It can be really anything, right? So that's pretty wide open. And hit me up, realwwepodcast@gmail.com or WWE or mailbag at wwepodcast.com. Both are available to you. So thanks everybody so much for listening. I'll be back on Tuesday with your Raw review. Thanks so much again. And that's it. Take care.
Thanks for listening to the WWE Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss a show, or head to wwepodcast.com. And for all of these shows ad-free, head over to patreon.com/WWE Podcast. Until then, we'll see you next time.